They told us democracy was sacred, the will of the people, the balance against tyranny, one voice for every citizen. But what if that promise was quietly rewritten? What if democracy didn't just evolve? It got monetized. Today, elections run on ad budgets. Parties talk in marketing terms. Citizens are customers, and attention is currency. The banners of freedom still wave, but behind them, entire industries profit from persuasion. Data firms, media empires, donors with deep pockets. Somewhere between ideals and algorithms, democracy turned into something else. A system that sells belief the way corporations sell brands. And if democracy has become a business, who's earning the profit? And who's just paying the cost? Because the market of power always has shareholders, and they're rarely the ones standing in line to vote. The idea of democracy, rule by the people, was born in ancient Athens. Back then it was raw, direct and personal. Citizens met face to face to argue, decide and vote. But citizens meant only a select few, property-owning men. There were no televised debates, no consultants whispering strategy, no billion-dollar campaigns. As populations grew, the system evolved. Representation replaced direct participation, and with that shift came something new: influence. Votes were no longer just opinions. They became assets to be courted, shaped, and bought. By the 19th century, democracy already resembled a market. Pamphlets, rallies, newspaper endorsements, all demanded funding. Wealth began to dictate visibility. The more money you had, the louder your message could be. Then came the 20th century, the age of mass communication. Radio, television, and later digital media transformed politics into spectacle. In this new arena, ideas competed not just on merit but on presentation. A polished speech could move millions. A well-lit image could change a nation's fate. By the time the first televised debates hit the air, democracy had entered its marketing age. The candidate wasn't just a leader, and they were a brand. The campaign wasn't a movement, it was a product launch. And as the market of politics expanded, it created an entire ecosystem of advertisers, strategists, and financiers, all profiting from the performance of power. The ideals of democracy still existed on paper, but the machinery running it had quietly transformed, from a civic duty into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Once politics adopted the logic of the market, there was no turning back. Campaigns became seasons of spending. Strategists studied psychology as closely as economists study markets. Every word, color, and slogan was optimized to convert emotions into votes. In some countries, the line between political persuasion and corporate marketing blurred completely. In Britain, the art of image-making became as important as policy itself. In India, political parties began using data analytics to segment voters into microgroups. The same strategy online stores use to target customers. Across Latin America, encrypted messaging apps turned into the new frontiers of influence, spreading crafted narratives, one private chat at a time. Everywhere, the pattern was the same. Whoever could afford better marketing could shape reality itself. Elections became less about ideas, more about attention, and attention was the most expensive commodity of all. The cycle was addictive and profitable. Each election season brought a surge of spending. Consultants, media networks, ad agencies, data firms, all waiting for the next wave. Like fashion, politics now thrived on reinvention. Every few years came a new message, a new slogan, a new promise, designed to expire just in time for the next campaign. But beneath the slogans, little changed. The policies served those who could pay for access. The donors became shareholders in a system that rewarded investment with influence. And when the money controls the message, democracy begins to look less like governance and more like a business plan. In theory, every vote carries equal weight. In practice, money decides whose voices echo loudest. This is where democracy's evolution becomes its paradox. Money meant to fund free expression now determines whose voices survive. The loudest campaigns are rarely the most truthful, just the best financed. Behind the speeches and televised debates lies a hidden economy, one that runs on donations, lobbying, and media contracts. Lobbyists act as brokers in this market, connecting corporations and wealthy donors to policymakers who can deliver returns in the form of laws, tax breaks, or subsidies. In the world's largest democracies, lobbying has become a multi-billion-dollar industry, larger than the economies of entire nations. And that's just the visible layer. Technology has opened an even more profitable frontier. Social platforms now serve as the new marketplaces of democracy. They don't just host campaigns, they shape them. Their algorithms feed users content designed to provoke, to divide, to keep them scrolling. The more emotional the reaction, the higher the engagement, and the more valuable the data. The business models of politics and digital media have fused into one. Keep people hooked. Anger, fear, outrage. These emotions sell better than hope. Every controversy is content. Every scandal, a surge in ad revenue. It's a perfect feedback loop. Democracy funds attention, attention funds profit, and profit fuels the next cycle of influence. What began as a system of representation has become a marketplace of emotion. And like any marketplace, it doesn't need truth to function, only demand. The danger isn't that democracy will vanish overnight, it's that it will keep functioning just profitably enough, while the spirit that gave it life slowly erodes beneath the surface. Because once profit replaces principle, the system no longer needs belief. It only needs customers. So what happens when democracy becomes an industry? It survives, but it changes. The show goes on as long as it's profitable. Campaigns roll out on schedule. Media thrives on controversy. Donors keep the machine oiled. But trust, the one currency democracy can't print, quietly drains away. The shareholders of this system don't need perfect democracies. They just need functioning ones. Systems that look legitimate enough to keep citizens voting, paying taxes, and feeding data into the loop. If faith fades, they rebrand the product: modernization, streamlining, efficiency. The slogans shift, but the control remains. And yet within this machinery, you still hold power. Not the kind you were promised, but the kind that comes from awareness. Every system, no matter how commercialized, relies on participation. That means your attention, your choices, your skepticism still matter, because the first step to escaping any market is recognizing you're being sold to. History offers a warning and a pattern. When the distance between the governed and those who profit from governing grows too wide, systems break. Sometimes through apathy, sometimes through revolt, always through imbalance. Your vote, your voice, your data, these aren't just civic tools, they're assets. Use them strategically. Question who profits from your belief, your outrage, your hope, because democracy isn't dying, it's being monetized, and like any business, it will keep running until the customers stop buying. If this gave you a new way to see power, hit subscribe. History doesn't repeat, it reinvents itself for profit. The least we can do is learn how the game is played.